On to the other side of the Atlantic now,
Right.
Kate, you've got, is it the New York Times there on the tablet?
It is the New York Times here, which is talking about Michael Flynn, the National Security Advisor, who earlier this year was fired because it turned out that he had more communications with the Russians than he had let the Vice President to believe. Flynn is now cooperating with the FBI and Agent Mueller, who is running the special investigation into Russia. And the New York Times...
He's cut some kind of deal, hasn't he?
Well, most likely. It looks like his cooperation might get him off on some of his other areas in which he might be more guilty. What the New York Times is highlighting is that Flynn might have had more communications with the Trump transition team than Donald Trump himself wanted to let on. It's an important story. Russia is going to continue to be an important story, but this is still not the smoking gun that I think most of Trump's opposition wants to find. And it concerns me that every story like this is used to prove that there was collusion. We still have no evidence that there was collusion. Who knows what will happen? We might find it.
So stay calm on this story. Follow the details. Stay calm.
And if you are actually frustrated with Donald Trump, going after him on Russia, I think, is the wrong angle. Go after his policy proposals. Look for other candidates that might be able to challenge him on the left and the right.
Well, let's do that then, because he's coming to this country, we read this morning, in February.
Yeah, I mean, apparently he's going to be here in February. There is, down in Battersea on the South Bank, a huge new American embassy that's being built. It's nearing completion. So the story is that he comes to London in February to open that and perhaps go to 10 Downing Street. Not a full state visit, but a working visit. And
Can I ask you something about this? Because we've had these, I would say, actually disgraceful tweets from him this week, retweeting Britain First, which is a fascist, racist organisation. He retweeted Free Britain.
OK, let's just get this right, shall we? There are 43.6 million people that follow Donald Trump. Donald Trump follows 45 people. One of those is Ann Coulter, right-wing American commentator. Yeah. She retweeted these videos. He picked it up from her and retweeted it. And he wouldn't have an earthly clue who Britain First were.
But that doesn't matter.
Were they in good taste?
Stupid.
Well, he's not that stupid. He's president of the USA,
well, if he doesn't
and he's
know what
dominating.
He's retweeting.
Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't research
well, that means
everything.
He is stupid.
All right, no. You're dealing with
a
very different president here.
I'm asking a slightly different question, if I may. Was that not a disgraceful thing to do? Those tweets, were they not themselves disgraceful? They're stirring up hatred between people in this country. They're fake news. They should not have been retweeted by the President of the United States.
Was the story about ISIS throwing people off buildings fake news? No, it wasn't. It was true.
It happened in Egypt.
Do I think, Andrew, those tweets were in good taste? Not particularly. No, I don't. But the point is,
you're going to defend him.
The level of outrage from the liberal elite in this country is out of all proportion.
Can I just say,
with what?
I can.
And every single time, no, I haven't finished yet. I haven't finished yet. And the idea that should lead to half the Labour Party saying he shouldn't be allowed to come to our country, frankly, is ridiculous. And I think is viewed by the public as being ridiculous.
Aisha, Donald Trump is a racist, he's misogynistic, and he's Islamophobic. He peddles in stirring up hate and division. Now, that is something that you might agree with, but that is not what British values are in this country. And just remember...
You're out of touch.
As Jo Cox lay there dying,
you're out of touch.
The scumbag who executed her shouted out Britain First. So the idea you defend Donald Trump
as... Do you actually think the President knows who Britain First are?
If he doesn't know
he does by now, I would have thought.
He is not fit to hold that office.
I agree with Aisha completely in sentiment. I'm ashamed that the President goes about living his life in this manner. And we've seen it for a long time. He was attacking Mexicans as rapists and murderers before he was even elected. So this is nothing new, and it's deeply frustrating. We have to live in reality, and politicians can't sever ties with Donald Trump. I think a working visit is in order. I also don't think that people should be banned from coming to the UK because of unsavory views that they hold, as unsavory as they may be. But I think we, the public, have every right to protest this.
I slightly disagree.
That is the right thing to do.
You said that Aisha was out of touch. When you see what happened in Charlottesville, for instance, and all those people making fascist salutes, and you hear some of the things being said from the Trump administration and that Steve Bannon thinks, do you not think perhaps you are getting too close to a dark kind of politics?
Do you know something? I think I believe I've done more than anybody in this country to stop the rise of the far right in Britain. I did it by taking away those people who were going out and voting BNP and holding their nose. So when it comes to dealing with the far right, I've got a very good track record. Of course, I would condemn. Of course, I would condemn the extremists in Charlottesville, but the extremists on both sides, and it's very important that we don't get stuck.
Nigel,
look,
you've done more
there
to
is much,
stir up.
There are
You've
people
done
out
more
there.
to stir up
There are
division.
people out there on the left in this
No, it's
country who
ridiculous.
use violence
Right.
to pursue their means.
Okay.
There's bad on both sides. It's important to recognise that.
Okay.
Very important.
I don't think we're going to get a calm consensus on this, I suspect. We're therefore going to go to a completely different story.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.